Zeteria Reed's phone buzzed for the 17th time as she stood in Incheon International Airport's private terminal. The air conditioning bit through her leather jacket. The expensive one Kim Min-jun had bought her last Christmas, back when his hand still reached for hers instead of his wallet. She could taste the recycled air, metallic, like pennies on her tongue. 36 hours traveling from Atlanta for this, for him. The text finally loaded. "Don't come to the penthouse. We need to talk. Cafe Onsu, 7 p.m. Her fingers tightened around her phone. The screen cracked just slightly at the corner, a spiderweb fracture that matched something breaking in her chest. 4 years. 4 years of learning Korean until her tongue bled from pronunciation drills. 4 years of making herself smaller in photos because his mother said curvy girls photographed too heavy for family albums. 4 years of when Min-jun's ready and just wait a little longer. The man who'd promised her everything couldn't even pick her up from the airport. Zeteria adjusted her grip on her Toomey suitcase, the one she'd bought herself with her real estate commission. Nobody bought things for girls like her. Too black, too curvy, too American. She'd learned that in the Korean restaurants back in Atlanta where Min-jun's friends would smile tight and switch to Korean when she asked questions. But she'd learned Korean anyway. Learned it well enough to know when they were calling her that black girl like it was a disease. Her phone buzzed again. Not Min-jun. Her best friend Renee. "Girl, if he breaks up with you at a cafe, I'm flying to Korea to break his kneecaps." Zeteria's laugh came out sharp. Dangerous. The kind of laugh that meant tears were 5 seconds behind it. She typed back, "He wouldn't. He proposed, remember?" But her hand moved to her ring finger instinctively, the finger that was still empty. Had been empty for 8 months since he'd said, "Soon, baby, soon," and tucked the ring box back into his jacket. The cafe was in Gangnam. Of course it was. Everything with Min-jun's family was about appearance, show, the right neighborhood, the right car, the right woman. And Zeteria, with her curves that spilled over Korean size standards and her skin that made his grandmother clutch her pearls, had never been right. She slid into the taxi, her thighs spreading against the leather seat, taking up space the way Korean beauty standards said she shouldn't. The driver's eyes flicked to the rear-view mirror. She saw the assessment, saw him clock her braids, her hips, her foreignness. "Cafe Onsu, Gangnam," she said in perfect Korean. His eyebrows lifted, just slightly. The universal symbol of, "Oh, the black girl speaks our language." 43 minutes of Seoul traffic gave her 43 minutes to build her armor back up, to remember she was Zeteria Reed, the woman who'd sold $4.2 million in Atlanta real estate last year, the woman who'd learned a whole language for love, the woman who deserved better than airport rejections and cafe breakups. But armor cracked, and hers had been cracking for 4 years. Hey friends, pause right here for just a second. Have you ever loved someone so much you changed everything about yourself? Your language, your style, your dreams, only to realize they were ashamed of you the whole time? Drop a comment if you've ever been the woman who was too much for someone who was never enough for you. I need to know I'm not alone in feeling this. And if you're just discovering this channel, hit that subscribe button for love and tension, because what happens next? You're not ready. The cafe smelled like money, vanilla lattes and imported pastries, and the kind of quiet that only came when every customer was wearing something that cost more than rent. Zeteria spotted Min-jun immediately. Corner booth, designer sweater, that apologetic smile that used to make her forgive everything. Not today. She slid into the booth across from him, her leather jacket creaking. His eyes dropped to her chest, not with desire, but with that familiar embarrassment, like her body was a problem he'd been trying to solve for 4 years. "You look tired," he said in English. Not beautiful, not "I missed you." Tired. 36-hour flight will do that. She kept her voice level, professional, the voice she used when Atlanta housewives tried to lowball her commission. "What's going on, Min-jun?" He didn't meet his eyes. Red flag number 1. His fingers drummed the table. Red flag number 2. He ordered for her without asking. Green tea, not the caramel macchiato she actually wanted. Red flag number 300. He's been thinking, and Zeteria's stomach dropped to her knees. Nothing good ever started with, "I've been thinking." "My family," he stopped, started again. "Uncle Sung Joon made me an offer, a business opportunity. The kind that changes everything. Zeteria's jaw tightened. What kind of opportunity? 200 million won to join his organization. Real power, Z, not just the scraps my father throws me. His eyes finally met hers, and they were bright, excited, like he was talking about a promotion, not whatever darkness Uncle Sung-jun's organization meant. She'd heard the name before. Lee Sung-jun. The uncle, Min-jun's mother, only mentioned in whispers, the one who didn't come to family dinners, the one whose name made Min-jun's father's jaw clench. "That's good," she said slowly. "That's really good, baby. We can—" "There's a condition." The world tilted. Min-jun's hand slid across the table, not to hold hers, to lay something between them. A check, made out to him, 200 million won. "He wants me unattached, focused, no distractions." Min-jun's voice dropped. He said a man serious about this life can't have complications. Complications. That's what she was. Not his fiancé, not the woman who'd learned his language and his culture and shrunk herself to fit his family's expectations. A complication. "You're breaking up with me." Her voice came out flat, dead. "At a cafe? For money? It's not like that. How much am I worth?" The question shot out sharp. "In the transaction, what's the exchange rate on 4 years?" Min-jun flinched. "Don't be dramatic. 200 million won. That's about, what, $150,000 USD? You traded me for 150K? Her laugh cracked. "I sold a condo last month for more than I'm apparently worth." "Zeteria, did you ever love me?" She asked it once, just once, because she wasn't going to beg. "Or was I just exotic, different, something to rebel against your family with until real opportunity came?" His silence was the answer. She stood. Her chair scraped loud enough that the other patrons looked. Let them look. Let them see the black American girl getting dumped by the Korean man who was too embarrassed to love her in public. "Keep the ring money," she said. "Sounds like you need it." She made it to the bathroom before the tears came. Made it to the stall before her knees buckled. Made it through 10 minutes of silent screaming into her hands before she heard the bathroom door open. "Zeteria Reed?" The voice was female, accented, not Korean. Zeteria wiped her face, opened the stall door. A woman stood there, 50-something, elegant, Southeast Asian features, wearing a suit that cost more than Zeteria's car. "I'm Dara Buapa. I work for Lee Sung-jun." She handed Zeteria a business card, heavy stock, embossed. "He'd like to meet you." "Why?" "Because my nephew is an idiot," a new voice said. Zeteria's head snapped up. A tall, 55-ish man stood in the bathroom doorway, salt and pepper hair styled sharp, wearing a black suit that screamed dangerous money. His eyes were dark, calculating, not cruel but not soft either. Lee Sung-jun, the uncle, the ghost, the man who'd just bought her fiancé for 150K. "This is the women's bathroom," Zeteria said. His smile was brief, sharp. "I own the building. I'll stand where I want." He gestured to Dara. "Give us the room." Dara left without question. That kind of obedience meant power, real power. Sung-jun studied Zeteria the way she studied properties before purchase, assessing value, checking foundations, looking for cracks. "You learned Korean for him," Sung-jun said. "Not a question." "Yes." "Fluent?" "Yes." "You run a real estate business in Atlanta, successful, $4 million in sales last year." He tilted his head. "Why waste that on a man who trades you for money?" "I loved him." "Love." Sung-jun said the word like it was foreign. "Love makes you stupid, makes you weak, makes you settle for men who hide you from their families and break up with you in cafes." Each word was a scalpel, precise, cutting. "What do you want?" Zeteria asked. "To make my nephew regret his choice, to teach him the cost of undervaluing assets." Sung-jun's smile widened. "And to offer you a better deal. I'm not sleeping with you for revenge." His laugh was genuine, surprised. "No, I'm offering you marriage." The world stopped. "Excuse me? Marry me tonight. I have a judge on retainer. In the morning we'll have breakfast with my sister, Min-jun's mother. Let her see what her son threw away now belongs to me." His eyes glinted. "Let Min-jun realize he traded a queen for pocket change." "You're insane." "I'm rich. There's a difference." He stepped closer, not threatening, assessing. You're beautiful, smart, wasted on a boy who was ashamed of you. Marry me. Let me show you what protection looks like. Let me show Korea that the woman they dismissed is now untouchable. Why? She asked it once. That was her rule. Ask why once, then decide. Because I'm tired of my family thinking they can dictate terms. Because you survived 4 years of their subtle cruelty and still held your head up. Because watching Min Jun's face tomorrow morning will be worth every won of that 200 million. He extended his hand. And because you deserve better than crying in bathroom stalls. Zeteria looked at his hand, calloused, scarred across the knuckles. This wasn't a soft man. This was a man who'd built empires with bloody hands. But Min Jun's hands had been soft, manicured, and they'd still destroyed her. One condition, she said. I'm not a trophy. I'm not arm candy. If I do this, I want to know what I'm walking into. No secrets about your organization. No surprises. Done. And I keep my real estate business. I'll expand it. Korea needs good developers. You'll have access to opportunities your competitors can't touch. She took his hand, shook it, felt the calluses scrape her palm. Let's make him regret it, she said. Sung Jun's smile was all teeth. Oh, we will. The marriage took 40 minutes. The judge was in Sung Jun's penthouse, a sprawling space in Cheongdam that made Min Jun's place look like a studio. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Seoul's glittering skyline, marble floors, art that belonged in museums. Dara appeared with a dress, black, fitted, designer. It hugged Zeteria's curves like it was painted on. Every inch Min Jun had been embarrassed by, now wrapped in silk that cost more than his car. He always preferred you covered up, didn't he? Dara said, zipping the back. Ashamed of this body, stupid man. The ceremony was brief, clinical. The judge spoke Korean. Zeteria answered in Korean. Sung Jun's hand was steady when he slipped the ring on her finger. Platinum, massive diamond. The kind of ring Min Jun had promised someday. Someday was today, just not with who she'd expected. You are now Mrs. Lee, the judge said. Mrs. Lee. Zeteria Reed was gone. In her place stood someone new, someone dangerous, someone untouchable. Sung Jun dismissed the judge with a nod and poured 2 glasses of whiskey, Japanese, probably older than Zeteria. Tomorrow morning, he said, handing her a glass. Breakfast at my sister's estate, 10 a.m. Wear that dress. Let them see exactly what Min Jun lost. What will you tell them? The truth. That I married you, that you're family now, that anyone who disrespects you disrespects me. His eyes were cold, and in my world, that's a death sentence. The words should have scared her. Instead, they felt like armor. Why me? She asked. Really, there are 100 women you could have used for this. Sung Jun studied her over his glass. Because when I watched you leave that cafe, you didn't beg, didn't plead, didn't make yourself smaller. You grew bigger, sharper. He took a drink. That's what survives in my world. People who adapt, people who sharpen under pressure instead of breaking. Your world, Zeteria repeated. The Mafia thing Min Jun mentioned. That's real? Yes. How real? Real enough that this penthouse has 17 security cameras, bulletproof windows, and 3 armed guards on every floor. He gestured around them. Real enough that the whiskey you're drinking cost more than most people make in a year because I can afford to burn money on luxury. Real enough that marrying you just made you the 2nd most dangerous woman in Seoul. Who's first? He smiled. Dara. She's killed more men than I have. The casual way he said it should have sent Zeteria running. Instead, she took another drink, let the whiskey burn down her throat. What happens now? She asked. Now? You sleep. Tomorrow, we destroy my nephew's peace. Next week, I teach you how this world works. He stood. The master bedroom is yours. I'll take the guest room. This marriage is business, not pleasure, unless you decide otherwise. He left her alone with the Seoul skyline and a ring that weighed heavy as a weapon. Zeteria pulled out her phone. Renee had texted 17 times. She typed back, I married his uncle, the Mafia one. I'll explain later, or never. I don't know yet. Renee's response was immediate. Girl, what? Zeteria turned off her phone, dropped it on the marble counter, looked at herself in the mirror. Black girl in a designer dress, wearing a ring that cost more than her childhood home, married to a man she'd met 3 hours ago. The woman in the mirror didn't look scared. She looked ready. The Lee family estate sat in Pyeongchang-dong like a fortress. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern security, high walls, cameras, guards in black suits stationed at every corner. Zeteria counted 6 before they even reached the main gate. Sung-jun's hand rested on her lower back as they walked through the courtyard. Not possessive, supportive, like he was saying, "I've got you," without words. "My sister's name is Hana," he said quietly. "Min-jun's mother. She'll be the cruelest. My brother-in-law Tae-yang will follow her lead. Min-jun will be shocked into silence. Use that. Use it how? However you want. This is your show. I'm just here to watch it burn." The dining room was excessive. 20-foot ceilings. A table that could seat 30 but only held 5. Hana sat at the head. 58. Beautiful in that preserved way rich women achieved, wearing traditional hanbok that probably cost more than Zeteria's education. Min-jun sat to her left. His eyes went wide when he saw Zeteria, wider when he saw Sung-jun's hand on her back, widest when he spotted the ring. "Uncle?" Min-jun's voice cracked. "What? Shut up," Sung-jun said pleasantly. "Adults are talking." Hana's eyes moved over Zeteria like she was cataloging livestock. "Brother, you brought her, the American girl, to family breakfast." "I brought my wife," Sung-jun corrected. He pulled out Zeteria's chair, the one opposite Hana. Power position. "Zeteria, meet my sister. Hana, meet Mrs. Lee." The silence was nuclear. Hana's teacup froze halfway to her lips. "Your what?" "We married last night. Judge Kwan officiated. Very legal, very binding." Sung-jun sat next to Zeteria, his knee touching hers under the table, grounding her. "I wanted family to be first to know." Min-jun's face had gone gray. "You can't. This is what happens when you trade assets for cash, nephew." Sung-jun's smile was venomous. "You threw her away for 200 million won. I picked her up for free. Who's the better businessman?" "She was mine," Min-jun whispered. "She was never yours. You were borrowing her. Badly." Sung-jun poured Zeteria tea. The gesture was intimate, husbandly. "Now she's family, untouchable, protected. Everything you should have made her 4 years ago." Hana found her voice, sharp, acidic. "You married this black girl, this American, this—" Her eyes raked over Zeteria's curves, visible even in the elegant dress. "This is some kind of joke. Revenge for the business deal?" "No joke," Zeteria said. Her first words, Korean, perfect, just good timing. Hana's jaw clenched. "You speak fluently. Your son never mentioned it?" Zeteria smiled sweetly. "I learned it for him. Spent 4 years making myself fit into boxes that were too small. Interesting how much bigger I feel now that I stopped trying." "This is insane," Min-jun said. He looked at Sung-jun. "You're doing this to punish me." "I'm doing this because she's magnificent and you're an idiot." Sung-jun sipped his tea. "Also, yes, the punishment part. Definitely that too." Tae-young, Min-jun's father, finally spoke. "Sung-jun, this is too far, even for you. You can't just marry some girl to—" "Some girl?" Zeteria's voice cut glass. "I have a name. I have a business. I have value beyond being decoration for men who are ashamed to be seen with me." She looked directly at Min-jun. "I learned that yesterday, right around the time your son traded me for the price of a used Hyundai. 200 million won is exactly what you thought I was worth. Actually, less. You got paid. I got dumped in a cafe." Zeteria's smile was sharp enough to draw blood. "But your uncle? He put a ring on my finger, made me family, gave me protection, gave me respect." She held up her hand. The diamond caught the light like a weapon. "What did you give me, Min-jun? 4 years of being hidden? 4 years of being too black, too curvy, too American for your family? I loved you, Min Jun said desperately. No, you loved the idea of rebellion. I was just convenient. She turned to Sheng Jun. I'm done here. This tea tastes bitter. He stood immediately, offered his hand. She took it. Welcome to the family, Mrs. Lee, Hannah said behind them. The words dripped poison. I'm sure this arrangement will last exactly as long as my brother's attention span. Zeteria paused at the door, looked back. Your son threw me away like trash. Your brother picked me up like treasure. Ask yourself which man knows value when he sees it. They left the estate with Min Jun's broken expression burned into her memory. In the car, Sheng Jun laughed. Deep, genuine. You destroyed him. Good. Zeteria's hands were shaking. Adrenaline. Was that okay? Did I overstep? Overstep? He looked at her like she was insane. You were perfect, sharp, controlled, lethal. His phone buzzed. He checked it, smiled. Hannah just texted. She's furious, calling you a conniving seductress. I've never been prouder. What happens now? Now I teach you how to survive my world, because Hannah's not wrong. You just became dangerous. Every enemy I have now sees you as a target. Every ally sees you as leverage. His eyes met hers. You need to learn fast. Can you do that? She thought of 4 years learning Korean, 4 years adapting, 4 years surviving. I'm good at fast, she said. Then let's begin. The next week was a crash course in Mafia royalty. Dara taught her the players, who could be trusted, who needed watching, who smiled in boardrooms and planted bombs in cars. Sung Jun taught her the codes, how to read a room, spot a wire, know when someone was lying by their breathing pattern. You survived Min Jun's family, he said during one lesson. That was practice. My world is the same game, higher stakes. Same fake smiles, same hidden knives, just more literal. He wasn't wrong. Zeteria attended her first business meeting on day 4, a restaurant in Itaewon. Too loud, too crowded, too public for violence, but perfect for deals. Sung Jun introduced her to 3 men who ran smuggling operations through Busan ports. Their eyes assessed her the way she was used to. Black, curvy, American. Underestimated. This is your wife? One asked in Korean. Not to her, to Sung Jun, like she wasn't there. This is Mrs. Lee, Sung Jun corrected. She speaks Korean better than you do. Address her directly or leave. The man's jaw tightened. He turned to Zeteria. You understand what your husband does? I understand you move electronics through Busan that aren't on manifests. I understand the route got compromised last month. I understand you're here because you need new distribution. She smiled. What I don't understand is why you're wasting time questioning my presence instead of making your pitch. Silence. Then Sung Jun's low chuckle. Told you she was sharp. The man, Park Hyun-woo, she'd learned, blinked, reassessed. We need a route through Incheon. Quieter, less traffic. More expensive, Sung Jun countered. They negotiated for 40 minutes. Zeteria stayed quiet, watching, learning. She noticed Park checked his phone 3 times. Each time a text came through. Noticed he wouldn't meet Sung Jun's eyes when discussing timelines. Noticed his breathing quickened when numbers came up. He's lying, she said quietly, in English. Only Sung Jun heard. About what? The timeline. He said 3 months to set up new routes, but he keeps checking his phone like he's waiting for confirmation he doesn't have. He's making promises he can't keep. Sung Jun's eyes narrowed. He leaned back. Park, who else are you negotiating with? Park's face went carefully blank. No one. Liar, get out. I'm not. You're playing both sides. Probably Jang's crew out of Gwangju. You're hoping whoever offers better terms gets your loyalty. Sung Jun stood. I don't do business with mercenaries. Leave before I make leaving permanent. Park fled. The other 2 men looked at Zeteria with new eyes, respect, fear, the expression she'd never seen on Min Jun's friends' faces. How did you know? One asked her directly. Real estate taught me to spot liars. They always check their phones when they're juggling offers. Always. She sipped her water. Your world isn't that different from mine, just higher stakes when deals fall through. That night, Sung-jun poured whiskey in the penthouse study, handed her a glass. You have instincts, he said. Good ones. Park was playing both sides. My sources confirmed it an hour ago. Do I get a gold star? You get to live longer. In this world, that's better. He studied her. You're adapting faster than I expected. Most people freeze up. You sharpen. Survival skill. I've been the outsider my whole life. You learn to read rooms or you drown. Min-jun never saw that in you. Min-jun saw what he wanted to see. A rebellion, a phase, something exotic to show his friends, then hide from his mother. She took a drink. You see something different. What is it? A weapon, he said simply, but one that aims herself. That's rare. Useful. Is that all I am? Useful? Would you prefer I lie and say this marriage is about love? His eyes held hers. You're smart enough to know what this is. A transaction. Protection for you. Revenge for me. Mutual benefit. And if I want more than that? The question hung between them. Dangerous. Loaded. Sung-jun set down his glass, stepped closer. Not touching. Just there. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, cedar, and something darker. Then you'd have to decide if you want more from a man whose hands are covered in blood, he said quietly. I'm not Min-jun. I won't pretend to be soft. I won't apologize for what I am. If you want more, it comes with knowing exactly who you're sleeping with. I know who you are. Do you? He tilted his head. You know I run a criminal empire. You don't know I've killed 17 men personally. You know I'm rich. You don't know half that wealth comes from weapons trafficking. You know I married you for revenge. You don't know I've been watching you for 3 months because Min-jun wouldn't shut up about his American girlfriend, and I got curious. His smile was sharp. You know enough to be dangerous, not enough to be safe. Then teach me. Why? Because I'm tired of being protected. I want to be powerful. She stepped closer, eliminated the space. Min-jun made me small. You're making me sharp. I want to see how sharp I can get. His hand came up, cupped her jaw, thumb brushing her cheek. You're playing with fire. Good. I'm cold. He kissed her. Not soft, not gentle. The kind of kiss that tasted like whiskey and danger and 4 years of being unwanted burning away into something fierce. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark, hungry. This changes things. Good. I like change. I don't do soft, Zeteria. I don't do romance. I do possession, protection, power. Show me. He did. Against the window overlooking Seoul, on the desk where he'd signed contracts worth millions, in the bed she'd been sleeping in alone for a week. And when morning came, Zeteria Lee understood exactly what she'd married into. Power. Real power. The kind that made the world bend. Before we continue, and trust me, what's coming next will blow your mind. I need to ask you something. Have you ever felt more alive after burning down your old life? Drop a comment telling me Team Min-jun or Team Sung-jun. Who would you have chosen? And if you're loving this story, smash that like button and subscribe to Love and Tension because the revenge is just getting started. 3 months into the marriage, Zeteria had learned 17 ways to spot a lie, 12 routes through Seoul that avoided traffic cameras, and 3 words that made grown men flinch when she said them. I'll tell Sung-jun. She'd also learned that Mafia wives weren't supposed to attend business meetings, weren't supposed to ask questions, weren't supposed to exist beyond decoration. Zeteria existed loudly. The shipment numbers don't match the manifests, she said during a meeting with suppliers from Daegu. 5 men in expensive suits, 1 woman who wasn't supposed to speak. She spoke anyway. The supplier, Bak Jin-ho, mid-40s, owned half of Daegu's waterfront, barely glanced at her. Mrs. Lee, perhaps you misread. I didn't misread. Column 3, row 17. You reported 40 containers. Customs logged 42. Where did the extra 2 come from? Silence. Sung-jun's smile was predatory. Zeteria, explain. She pulled out her tablet, showed the documents. Either someone's skimming product or someone's running side deals using your routes. Either way, you're losing money or reputation. Bak's face went carefully neutral. A clerical error. Liar, she said simply. Your left eye twitches when you lie. It's been twitching for 45 seconds. The room froze. Sungjun leaned back. Well, which is it? Skimming or side deals? Bok cracked. Confessed. Side deals. Using Sungjun's distribution network to move his own product, pocketing the profits. Get out, Sungjun said quietly, and pray I don't send Dara to discuss termination clauses. Bok fled. When the room cleared, Sungjun pulled Zatelia close, kissed her hard. You just saved me 3 million won and a headache. I'm good with numbers, told you that. You're good at everything. His hands slid down her sides, over curves Minjun had been ashamed of, curves Sungjun worshipped. Remind me to make you a partner. In crime? In everything. But success bred enemies, and Hana, Minjun's mother, was the worst kind of enemy, the patient kind. Zatelia first noticed the tail on a Tuesday, black sedan, following her from the penthouse to a property viewing in Mapo. She called Sungjun. I'm being followed. I know. My security team is 3 cars behind him, tracking. Should I be worried? Not yet. Let me know if he gets closer than 50 meters. The tail disappeared after 20 minutes, but others appeared. Different cars, different drivers, all watching. It's Hana, Sungjun confirmed that night. She's trying to find dirt, proof you're using me, proof you're cheating, anything to invalidate the marriage. Will she find anything? Unless you're hiding something. Zatelia wasn't. Her life was clean, boring, real estate deals and mafia meetings and nights with a husband who'd become more than a transaction. But Hana was creative. The setup came on a Friday, a business dinner in Myeongdong. Potential investors for a property development Zatelia was spearheading, a luxury complex in Gangnam that would net 50 million won if done right. She arrived early. Sungjun was stuck in a meeting across town. Dara was with him. Zatelia was alone. The investors were late, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then Minjun walked in. He looked worse, thinner, shadows under his eyes. The money from his uncle's deal hadn't brought him peace. Zatelia. Not Mrs. Lee. We need to talk. No, we don't. She stood to leave. He grabbed her wrist. Not hard, but enough. Please, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. She should have walked away, should have called security, should have done anything except sit back down. But part of her, the part that had loved him for 4 years, wanted to hear what desperation sounded like. 5 minutes, she said. He sat across from her, hands shaking. I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life. Agreed. I threw you away for money, for my uncle's approval, for... His voice cracked. For nothing. The organization didn't want me. Uncle Sungjun used me to get to you. He'd been watching you for months, waiting. I was just the excuse. Zatelia's blood went cold. What? He planned it, all of it. He told me to take the deal, to break up with you. He knew you'd be vulnerable, knew you'd be at that cafe. Minjun's eyes were red, desperate. He played us both, and now he has you, and I have nothing. You're lying. I'm not. Ask him. Ask Dara. They've been planning this since December. He reached across the table. Come back to me, please. I'll leave the family. We'll go to America. Start over. You traded me for $150,000, Zatelia said flatly. You don't get to rewrite that story now that I'm happy. You're not happy. You're trapped. He's using you to hurt my family, to hurt me. Minjun's grip tightened. Z, please, I love you. I always loved you. I was just scared and stupid and... Let go of my wife. Sungjun's voice cut through the restaurant like a blade. He stood 10 feet away, flanked by 3 security guards. His face was calm, deadly calm. Minjun released Zatelia's wrist like it burned. Uncle, outside, now. She deserves to know the truth. She knows the truth, that you're weak, that you traded her for money, that you don't deserve to breathe the same air as her. Sungjun moved forward, slowly. You have 3 seconds to walk out before I make you crawl. Minjun stood, stumbled backward. This isn't over. Yes, Sungjun said. It is. Minjun fled, again. Sungjun turned to Zatelia, extended his hand. Let's go home. In the car, silence stretched between them, heavy, loaded. "Is it true?" Zeteria finally asked. "Did you plan this? Watch me for months? Use Min-jun to get to me?" Sung-jun didn't answer immediately, just watched Seoul blur past the window. "Yes," he finally said. The admission hit like a fist to the chest. "Why?" "Because I was tired of watching my nephew waste potential. Because you impressed me. Because I wanted to see what you'd do with real power instead of scraps." He looked at her. "Because I'm a selfish bastard who takes what he wants. I'm not a thing to be taken." "No, you're a weapon I wanted to wield." His hand found hers. "But you're a weapon that aims herself. That's why this works. I didn't force you into anything. I offered. You chose. You manipulated. I provided an opportunity. You took it. Don't pretend the last 3 months haven't been real just because the beginning was calculated." She wanted to pull away, wanted to be angry, wanted to feel betrayed. But he wasn't wrong. She'd known this was revenge. She'd known he was using her. She'd just started hoping it was becoming something else. "What happens now?" she asked. "That's up to you. You can leave, divorce, take half my wealth and go back to Atlanta." His eyes held hers. "Or you can stay, accept that I'm a calculating bastard who wanted you from the first time Min-jun showed me your photo. Accept that I'll never be soft or romantic or safe. Accept that this marriage started as a transaction and became something more dangerous." What's more dangerous than a transaction? Partnership. He said the word like a threat, like a promise. Real partnership, where you're not just my wife, you're my equal, my strategist, my second in command. Why would you offer that? Because you've earned it, because in 3 months you've proven you're sharper than half my organization, because I'd rather have you beside me than against me. His smile was sharp. And because watching you destroy people who underestimate you is my new favorite entertainment. Zeteria studied him. This man who'd manipulated her into marriage, who'd given her power and protection and something dangerously close to love, who'd turned her from discarded girlfriend to Mafia queen. "I'm not forgiving you for the manipulation. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm asking for partnership. And if I say no, then I'll respect it. And lose the best thing that's happened to me in 20 years. The vulnerability in that admission, raw, unexpected, broke something in her chest. This wasn't manipulation. This was truth. "Okay," she said. "Okay what?" "Okay, partner. Now tell me what Min-jun was really doing at that restaurant, because he wasn't there by accident." Sung-jun's smile widened. Proud. "He was bait, sent by my sister to make you doubt me, to break us apart. Security camera footage shows Hana meeting him outside 30 minutes before you arrived. So what do? We flip it. The plan was elegant, brutal, perfect. Hana had been planning a hostile takeover of one of Sung-jun's smuggling operations, the Busan port route worth 80 million won annually. She'd been quietly buying out suppliers, convincing them Sung-jun was losing his edge by letting his black wife run business meetings. She'd underestimated 2 things, Sung-jun's intelligence network and Zeteria's accounting skills. "Every payment she's made is traceable," Zeteria said, spreading documents across the penthouse dining table. 3 days of work, 3 days of tracking money through shell corporations and offshore accounts. She's using Min-jun's accounts to hide the transfers, probably because she thinks she won't audit your own nephew. How much has she moved? 15 million won, all to suppliers who've suddenly become too busy to fulfill your contracts. Zeteria highlighted 3 names. These 3 are ready to flip back if offered better terms. These 2 are loyal to Hana. And this one, she tapped Park Hae-imnu's name. This one is playing both sides again, wants to see who wins before committing. Sung-jun studied the documents, looked at Zeteria with something close to awe. "You found all this in 3 days? I'm good with numbers, and I'm tired of your sister acting like I'm stupid." She smiled, sharp, dangerous. "Let me handle Park. I have an idea." The meeting was set for Tuesday, Park's warehouse in Incheon, supposedly to discuss new opportunities. What Park didn't know, Zeteria had already contacted his suppliers, had already offered them terms Hana couldn't match, had already built a trap he'd walk right into. She went alone. Sung-jun wanted to send guards. She refused. "This is my play. Let me run it." Park was waiting in the warehouse office. Cramped space, stale air, the smell of sea salt and rust from the nearby docks. He smiled when she entered. The kind of smile men gave women they thought were out of their depth. "Mrs. Lee, I'm surprised Lee Sung-jun lets you travel alone. My husband doesn't let me do anything. I choose my own path." She sat without being invited, crossed her legs, let the designer dress do its work. "Let's talk about the Busan routes." "I don't know what you mean." "Liar," your eyes twitching again. "You've been negotiating with Hana Lee to switch contracts. She's offered you 20% over current rates." Zeteria smiled. "I'm offering 40%, plus exclusive distribution rights for electronics coming through Incheon, plus protection from anyone who might object to you betraying Hana." Park's smile faltered. "You can't offer that." "I can, because Sung-jun trusts me, because I've proven I know value when I see it, because," she leaned forward, "because I know you have a daughter, Soo-jin, 12 years old, attends Seoul Arts Academy, has ballet class every Thursday at 4. The blood drained from Park's face. "Are you threatening my daughter? I'm reminding you what happens when you play both sides. Hana will betray you the moment you're not useful. I won't." She slid a contract across the desk. 40% increase, 5-year exclusive, protection. All I need is your signature and a list of everyone Hana has contacted. And if I refuse, then Sung-jun finds out you've been skimming 15% off every shipment for the last 8 months, the money you've been funneling into your daughter's trust fund. She tilted her head. "We've known for 6 weeks. We've been waiting to see if you'd be smart or stupid." Park's hands shook. "How did you—" "I'm good with numbers. Sign, or explain to your daughter why she's losing her college fund." He signed, gave her the names. 18 suppliers Hana had contacted, 3 who'd agreed to flip, 15 who were still negotiating. Zeteria left the warehouse with everything she needed. In the car, she called Sung-jun. "I have the list." "All of them?" "All of them. Plus Park's loyalty, plus proof Hana's been embezzling from family accounts to fund the takeover." She smiled. "Plus a recording of Min-jun agreeing to launder money through his personal accounts. Got him on tape 3 days ago when I had coffee with him." Silence on the other end. Then Sung-jun's low, dangerous laugh. "You set up Min-jun? He approached me, remember? Said he wanted to apologize. I just wore a wire. Let him talk, let him incriminate himself trying to convince me to leave you." She checked her nails. "I told you, I'm good at this." "You're magnificent. I'm coming to get you. We're confronting Hana tonight." "No, no. We're confronting her at the family dinner on Sunday, in front of everyone. Maximum humiliation. Isn't that what you taught me? Make the punishment public." His laugh was pure delight. "I've created a monster. You've created a partner. There's a difference." Sunday dinner at the Lee estate was a production. 30 family members, traditional Korean feast, Hana presiding over everything like a queen. Zeteria wore red, bold, dangerous, a dress that made Minjin's eyes go wide and Hana's jaw clench. "Red at a family dinner," Hana said as they arrived. "How American." "How powerful," Sung-jun corrected. "Red suits her." Dinner was tense, polite, everyone pretending the last 3 months hadn't happened, pretending Zeteria wasn't sitting at the head table, pretending Sung-jun's marriage wasn't the scandal everyone whispered about. Dessert was served. Green tea ice cream, expensive mochi, imported fruits that cost more than cars. Sung-jun stood, tapped his glass. "Family announcement." The room quieted. "As you know, there have been some reorganizations in our business structure, territory disputes, contract negotiations." His eyes found Hana. "Supply chain issues." Hana's smile was tight. "All businesses face challenges, brother." "True, but not all businesses face internal sabotage." He nodded to Zeteria. She stood, placed a folder in front of Hana. These are bank transfers, 15 million won, from family accounts to 18 different suppliers, all in the last 4 months, all authorized by you. Hana's face went carefully blank. Routine business expenses. For suppliers you were trying to steal from your brother, to undermine his Busan routes, to prove he was weak. Zeteria opened the folder. Every payment is documented, every conversation recorded, including the 3 where you told suppliers that Sung-Jun was distracted by his black whore wife. The room went nuclear silent. You, Hana stood. You recorded me? Your suppliers recorded you. I just collected the evidence. Zeteria turned to Minjun. Your son helped, used his personal accounts to launder money, thought his uncle wouldn't audit family. Stupid assumption. Minjun's face was ash. Mother, shut up, Hana hissed. She turned to Sung-Jun. This is entrapment. Illegal. You can't what? Protect my business from my own sister? Sung-Jun's voice was ice. You tried to destroy me. You used your son. You called my wife a whore, and you thought I wouldn't notice? She's not real family. She's more family than you are right now. Sung-Jun moved around the table, slow, predatory. You have 2 choices. Return the 15 million won, publicly apologize to Zeteria, step down from all business operations, or I release these recordings to every organization in Seoul. Show them how Lee Hana betrayed her own blood for money. Show them how Min-Jun laundered funds. Show them how weak my family's security was that you almost succeeded. His smile was venom. Your reputation will be ash. Your son will be unemployable. Your husband will divorce you to save face. Hana looked around the table, looking for allies, found none. The family watched in horrified silence. This is because of her, Hana whispered, pointing at Zeteria. This black girl, she's poisoned you, made you betray your own... I'm betraying no one. You betrayed me. She exposed you. Sung-Jun's hand found Zeteria's, squeezed. She's the best thing to happen to this family in decades. Smart, loyal, sharper than everyone in this room combined. She's a whore you married for revenge. Dara appeared behind Hana, silent, deadly, hand resting on Hana's shoulder. Finish that sentence and you'll never speak again. Hana froze. Sung-Jun smiled. Apologize to my wife now, or Dara helps you find the door permanently. The room held its breath. Hana turned to Zeteria, eyes burning with hate. I apologize. Louder. I apologize, she said through clenched teeth, for calling you, for insulting you, for undermining your position, and your family, Mrs. Lee. I was wrong. Zeteria smiled, sweet, poisonous. Thank you, Hana. That must have been hard for you. But don't worry, you'll have plenty of time to practice humility during your retirement. She turned and walked out. Sung-Jun followed. Behind them, the family erupted in chaos. In the car, Zeteria exhaled, started laughing, couldn't stop. That was insane, she gasped. That was perfect. Sung-Jun pulled her close, kissed her hard. You just destroyed my sister in front of 30 witnesses. You're officially terrifying. Good. I like terrifying. I noticed. His hand slid up her thigh. How do you want to celebrate? By finishing what we started 3 months ago, which is building an empire, together, as equals. She looked at him. Partners? Partners, he agreed. But empires always had cracks, and Min-Jun was desperate enough to exploit them. The attack came on a Wednesday. Zeteria was at a property viewing in Gangnam, a penthouse suite worth 200 million won, potential investment for their development company. She was alone. Security was 3 floors down. The elevator opened. Min-Jun stepped out. He looked different, wild-eyed, desperate. His suit was wrinkled, his hair unkempt. Z, we need to talk. No, we don't. She pulled out her phone, called security. He grabbed it, threw it against the wall. Please, just listen. Security is on their way. I don't care. I need you to understand. He stepped closer. Everything I did, the breakup, the deal, working with my mother, I did it because I was scared. Scared of how much I loved you. Scared of defying my family. Scared of choosing you over everything I'd been raised to want. And now I've lost everything. My mother hates me. My uncle won't speak to me. My family thinks I'm a traitor and an idiot. All I have left is you. You don't have me. You never had me. You had a version of me I was willing to be because I loved you. That woman's gone. She's not. I can see her right now. The woman I fell in love with. The one who learned Korean for me. The one who believed in us. His hands found her shoulders. Come back to me, please. We'll leave Korea. Start over. I'll be better. I promise. Your promises are worthless. Then I'll prove it. I'll spend the rest of my life proving it. His grip tightened. Just give me a chance. One chance. That's all I'm asking. The elevator dinged. Security rushed out. Mrs. Lee, are you... She's fine, Min-jun said. Not to them, to her. Tell them you're fine. Tell them we're just talking. The security guards looked at Zeteria, waiting for orders. This was the moment to be smart, to let security remove him, to follow protocol. Instead, Zeteria did something stupid. Give us 5 minutes, she told security. Wait downstairs. They hesitated, then obeyed. The elevator doors closed. She was alone with Min-jun. Thank you, he breathed. Thank you. I knew you still... I don't still anything. I'm giving you 5 minutes because I want you to understand something. Completely. Finally. She stepped back, put space between them. You broke me. The day you took that money, the day you traded me like property, you broke something in me I didn't know could break. And I survived. I adapted. I became someone stronger than the woman who loved you. I know. I see that. You're incredible now. Powerful. Exactly what I always knew you could be. Because your uncle saw value in me, not you. He gave me respect, protection, power. Everything you should have given me 4 years ago. He gave me in 3 months. Her voice was ice. And now you want credit for my transformation? You want me to come back to you because I've become what you were too scared to help me become? I was wrong. I admit it. But that doesn't mean we can't. Yes, it does. Because I don't love you anymore. I don't even like you. You're weak, pathetic, a boy playing man's games and losing every time. She moved to the window. Your uncle is ruthless, calculating, dangerous, but he's honest about what he is, doesn't pretend to be soft, doesn't make promises he can't keep, doesn't trade people for money then expect them to thank him for it. So that's it? You choose him? The man who manipulated both of us? The criminal? I choose power. I choose respect. I choose a man who looks at my curves and sees strength instead of shame, who looks at my blackness and sees beauty instead of rebellion, who looks at me and sees a partner instead of a pet. I loved you. No, you loved the idea of me, the rebellion I represented, the fantasy of defying your family. But the moment it got real, the moment you had to choose, you chose money, you chose comfort, you chose mommy's approval over me. Min-jun's face crumbled. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Own it. The elevator dinged again. Sung-jun stepped out, flanked by Dara and 3 guards. Time's up, nephew. Min-jun spun. Uncle, please, just let me... You had your chance. You threw her away. I picked her up. She's mine now. Accept it. She's not property. She's my wife, my partner, my equal. Things you never made her. Sung-jun moved forward. You've had 3 months to accept reality. Clearly you need help. Dara? Dara moved faster than thought, had Min-jun's arm twisted behind his back before he could react. Wait, Min-jun gasped. You can't just... I'm family. Family respects boundaries. You're a stalker. Sung-jun looked at Zeteria. What do you want done with him? This was the test. The real test. Did she want revenge? Did she want mercy? Did she want to be cruel or kind? Zeteria looked at Min Jun, this man who'd owned 4 years of her life, this man who'd made her question her worth, this man who'd traded her for the price of a used car. Let him go, she said. Everyone froze. What? Sung Jun's eyes narrowed. Let him go. Don't hurt him. Don't threaten him. Just let him leave. Forever. She turned to Min Jun. You want a chance? Here it is. Walk away. Leave Korea. Start over somewhere else. Build a life that doesn't involve me. Because if I see you again, if you contact me, follow me, or even think my name too loud, I won't be merciful. Understood? Min Jun's eyes filled with tears. Mrs. Lee, she corrected. You lost the right to my name when you took that money. Now leave before I change my mind. Dara released him. Min Jun stumbled toward the elevator, looked back once. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know. That's why I'm letting you live. The elevator doors closed. Min Jun was gone. Sung Jun studied her. You surprised me. Good. I like being surprising. Why mercy? After everything he did? Because killing him or breaking him would mean he still mattered. Letting him go means he's nothing, just a mistake I survived. She moved to Sung Jun. Besides, I'm not interested in revenge anymore. I'm interested in building. Building what? Everything. The development company, our network, an empire where people like me, black, curvy, foreign, aren't just tolerated. We're powerful, respected, feared. His smile was slow. Proud. You want to take over the world. I want to remake it. With you. As partners. Partners, he agreed. But the story wasn't over. Because Hana wasn't done. And wounded animals were always most dangerous. The call came at 3 a.m. Dara's voice. Urgent. We have a problem. Hana's made a move. They raced to the office. Sung Jun's legitimate business headquarters in Yeouido. Top floor. Usually empty at night. Tonight, it was on fire. Not literally, but close. The files were scattered, the computers accessed, the safe cracked open. She took everything, Dara said. Her voice was tight, controlled, but underneath, fury. Client lists, bank accounts, trade routes, 18 years of business intel. Gone. How? Sung Jun's voice was deadly calm, the kind of calm that preceded violence. Inside job. Someone on the security team. We're tracking them now. Dara pulled up footage. They knew the codes, knew the camera blind spots, knew exactly where to hit. Zeteria studied the footage, saw the intruder's pattern, the way they moved through the office. It wasn't Hana, she said. What? Look at the movements. Too young, too quick, too comfortable in that suit. She pointed at the screen. That's Min Jun. Sung Jun's jaw clenched. He didn't leave Korea. No, he's been planning this, probably since the family dinner, maybe longer. Zeteria pulled up financial records on her tablet, cross-referenced them with the stolen files. He took specific accounts, the ones connected to offshore holdings, the ones that can't be traced easily. He's going to sell the information to your competitors. How long do we have? 12 hours, maybe less. He needs to move fast before we freeze accounts. Find him. Already did. Dara pulled up a location. GPS tracker in his phone. He's at a warehouse in Incheon, Park Hyun-woo's territory. Of course, Park, the man who played both sides, the man Zeteria had thought she'd secured. Park flipped again, Zeteria said. Her voice was ice. I offered him 40%. Someone offered him more. Hana, Sung Jun confirmed. She's been planning this for months, using Min Jun, using Park, using every asset she could flip. His eyes met Zeteria's. She's smarter than I gave her credit. Then we need to be smarter. How? Zeteria smiled, sharp, dangerous, by giving her exactly what she wants. The plan was insane, risky, perfect. They let Park and Min Jun think they'd won, let them believe the stolen files would sell, let them set up a meeting with Hana's buyers, rival organizations from Busan and Gwangju, eager to carve up Sung Jun's territory. Let them come to us, Zeteria said. Let them think they're safe. Then we flip it. The warehouse meeting was set for midnight, neutral territory, or so Park thought. What he didn't know, Zeteria had bought the warehouse 6 weeks ago, under a shell company, using her real estate skills to hide the ownership. What he didn't know, every entry was monitored, every exit controlled, every word would be recorded. What he didn't know, he'd walked into a trap. Zeteria and Sung Jun watched from a control room above the warehouse floor. Monitors showing every angle. Dara positioned with a strike team outside, waiting. Min Jun arrived first, nervous, clutching a laptop with the stolen files. Park arrived second, confident, stupid. The buyers arrived last, 5 men, expensive suits, dead eyes, the kind of men who built empires on corpses. Gentlemen, Park said, as promised, complete access to Lee Sung-jun's network, trade routes, client lists, everything you need to dismantle his organization. How do we know it's legitimate? One buyer asked. Min Jun opened the laptop, showed files. I stole these myself, from his office. It's all real. And the price? 50 million won each, 250 million total. The buyers exchanged looks, nodded. Acceptable. Transfer the files. This was the moment. Zeteria pressed the button. The warehouse lights died, emergency systems activated, automated locks engaged, every exit sealed. What the hell? Park shouted. The lights came back on, red, emergency lighting, making everything look like a crime scene. Sung Jun's voice echoed through speakers. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. You've just incriminated yourselves on 17 different cameras, attempting to purchase stolen corporate intelligence, conspiracy to commit industrial sabotage, and my personal favorite, trespassing on property owned by my wife. Panic. The buyers pulled guns. Min Jun bolted for the door, found it locked. The files you purchased? Zeteria's voice now. Fake. We fed Min Jun modified data 6 weeks ago. Every account number is wrong, every route is fabricated. You just paid 50 million won each for useless information. You set us up, one buyer screamed. Yes, thoroughly. Sung Jun appeared on the warehouse floor, Dara and 20 guards behind him. Now here's what happens next. You're going to transfer that money back, plus a 50% penalty for trying to betray me. Or I release these recordings to every organization in Seoul. Show them how easy it was to con you. Show them how weak you are. The buyers had no choice. They transferred the money, 500 million won total, the biggest single score of Zeteria's life. Park was dragged forward, face pale. Lee Sung-jun, please, I can explain. You played both sides twice, got caught twice. Even I'm impressed by your stupidity. Sung-jun nodded to Dara. Explain to Park what happens to people who betray me twice. Dara smiled, pulled out a pair of pliers. Park started screaming before she even touched him. Min Jun was last, cornered, broken. Sung-jun looked at Zeteria. Your call. He's yours to deal with. This was it. The final test. Mercy or revenge. Zeteria walked down to the warehouse floor, stood in front of Min Jun, this man who'd shaped 4 years of her life, this man who'd broken her, this man who wouldn't let go. I gave you a chance, she said quietly, told you to leave, to start over, to build a life without me. I couldn't. I can't. I love you. No, you love the idea of winning me back. You love the challenge. You don't love me. She crouched down, met his eyes. You want to know the difference between you and your uncle? He saw value in me. You saw a problem. He gave me power. You tried to make me small. He built me up. You tore me down. I'm sorry. I know, that's the tragedy. You're genuinely sorry. But sorry doesn't undo 4 years of shame. Sorry doesn't erase being traded for $150,000. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. So what happens now? Now you leave Korea. For real this time. Your mother's paying for a one-way ticket to America. New identity, new life. Far away from me, from your uncle, from everyone. That's it? Exile? That's mercy. The alternative is Dara. Choose. Min Jun chose exile. Smart choice. They watched him leave in the police van. Sung Joon had called in favors to ensure Min Jun's voluntary departure was documented, legal, permanent. How do you feel? Sung Joon asked. Powerful, free. Zeteria leaned into him, ready for whatever comes next. What comes next is us, building the empire you wanted, making people who underestimated you choke on their assumptions. He kissed her, hard, claiming, making them remember that the black American girl they dismissed is now the most dangerous woman in Seoul. Second most dangerous. Right, Dara still number one. They laughed, left the warehouse, left Min Jun in the past where he belonged. 6 months later, Zeteria stood in front of floor-to-ceiling windows in their new headquarters, a building she'd designed, a company she co-owned, an empire they'd built together. Lee Development Corporation had grown, legitimate business mixed with underground connections, real estate deals that made millions, power that made politicians nervous, and Zeteria, the woman who'd been traded for $150,000, was now worth $200 million. The minister approved the Gangnam Project, Sung Joon said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. 12 buildings, 800 units, biggest development in Seoul history. Our development, she corrected. Our everything. He turned her around. I have something for you. He handed her a folder. She opened it. Inside, documents. Official documents. You're making me a legal partner? I'm making you CEO of the legitimate businesses. You've earned it. 3 major developments, 20 successful negotiations, 0 failures. His smile was proud. You've become everything I knew you could be. We became this together. No, you became this. I just gave you the opportunity to show the world what they'd been too stupid to see. Her phone buzzed. A text from Renee. Girl, I'm coming to Seoul. I need to meet this Mafia husband who turned you into a billionaire boss bitch. Zeteria laughed, showed Sung Joon the text. Should I be worried? Terrified. She's worse than Dara. Impossible. They stood together, watching Seoul glitter below them, a city that had rejected her, a city she now partially owned. Do you miss him? Sung Joon asked quietly. Min Jun, the life you could have had. No, that life was small, safe, suffocating. This? She gestured at the skyline, at the empire. This is oxygen. This is freedom. This is power. Any regrets? Zeteria turned in his arms, looked at this man who'd seen her worth when she couldn't see it herself, this man who'd weaponized her pain into power, this man who'd made her dangerous. Only one, she said, that I wasted 4 years on a man who couldn't see what was right in front of him. His loss. My gain. Our gain. She kissed him, slow, deep, the kind of kiss that promised forever. We built this together. A knock at the door. Dara entered without waiting for permission. She never did. Hana wants a meeting. Sung Joon's jaw tightened. Tell her no. She's offering information about the Busan routes. Says there's a new player trying to move into your territory. Zeteria and Sung Joon exchanged looks. 6 months of silence from Hana. 6 months of her licking her wounds in exile from the family business. Now she wanted back in? It's a trap, Sung Joon said. Probably. Zeteria smiled. Let's spring it. The meeting was set for the next day. Same cafe where this had all started. Cafe Ansu. Full circle. Hana looked older, worn. The exile had cost her more than money. It had cost her pride. Thank you for coming, she said as they sat. You have 5 minutes, Zeteria said. Not Sung Joon. Her. Talk. Hana's eyes flickered with something. Respect? Fear? Both? There's a new organization, Chinese, moving through Busan. They're buying out suppliers, undercutting prices. They'll control the entire port within 6 months if you don't stop them. Why tell us? Sung Joon asked. Because if they take Busan, they'll come for Seoul next. And despite everything, I'm still Lee family. I won't watch outsiders destroy what we built. Zeteria studied her, looked for the lie, the angle, the trap, found something else. Desperation. Real desperation. What do you want in exchange? Zeteria asked. Forgiveness. A way back into the family. A chance to prove I can still be useful. No, Sung Joon said immediately. Wait, Zeteria put her hand on his arm. She could be useful. She still has contacts we don't, access to people who won't talk to us. She tried to destroy us and failed spectacularly. Now she's desperate. Desperate people are controllable. Zeteria looked at Hana. You want back in? You work for me, not Sung Jun, me. You report to me, you follow my orders, and the first time you lie, the first time you betray us, Dara doesn't use pliers, she uses fire. Understood? Hana's face went pale, then she nodded. Understood. Good. Start with the Chinese organization, names, routes, leadership structure, everything. You have 48 hours. Hana left. Sung Jun stared at Zeteria. You just made your sister your employee. I just turned your enemy into an asset. There's a difference. She sipped her coffee, caramel macchiato this time, not green tea. She'll either prove useful or she'll betray us. Either way, we win. If she's useful, we get information. If she betrays us, we get an excuse to destroy her permanently. You're terrifying. I learned from the best. She smiled. Now, let's go handle these Chinese bastards trying to steal our port. The war for Busan took 3 weeks. Negotiations, intimidation, strategic buyouts. One car bomb that Zeteria definitely didn't order, but also definitely didn't condemn. The Chinese organization retreated. Busan stayed Li territory. And Hana, true to her word, had provided the intelligence that made it possible. She's actually being useful, Dara admitted one night over whiskey. I hate that I'm impressed. People are capable of change when properly motivated, Zeteria said. Fear is an excellent motivator. Sung Jun pulled her close. You know what tomorrow is? Thursday? Our 1-year anniversary. 1 year since you married me in this penthouse. 1 year since you became Mrs. Lee. Best transaction I ever made. Transaction? He raised an eyebrow. Fine, best partnership, best merger, best... She kissed him. Best decision of my life. Even better than learning Korean? Way better. Korean just got me dumped in a cafe. You got me an empire. They laughed, drank, watched Seoul glitter below them like diamonds on black velvet. 1 year ago, Zeteria Reed had been broken, traded, discarded. Now Zeteria Lee was powerful, feared, unstoppable. She'd learned Korean for a man who was ashamed of her. She'd built an empire with a man who celebrated her. The difference was everything. Any regrets? Sung Jun asked again. Zeteria looked at the ring on her finger, at the man beside her, at the city they owned together. Not a single one. And there it is, friends, from airport rejection to empire building in 12 months. Zeteria didn't just survive, she conquered. She took the worst betrayal of her life and turned it into the best revenge. Success. If you loved this story, drop a comment telling me what you'd do if you got a second chance at power after being broken. And subscribe to Love and Tension, because these stories, they're just getting started. See you in the next one.